and sends them off. My Eclipse comes away running with I Dream Again on the far side. Prince Roy not too far away. He's down now. Another one shows speed and runs the rail. Toward the outside, that's Big Buzz Lockdown overtaking along with Bob the Builder as they make their way down the back stretch. Another one shows speed and has that lead. A Lockdown and Prince Roy in close proximity. I Dream Again on the outside. Bob the Builder in a handy spot. My Eclipse is next, about 6 or 7 off that lead. Sensational Soul tucked in between horses. Bossman now splitting rivals. Mr. Lee is there with Strong Mind as they charge down the far side. Big Buzz races with the field toward the back of it. Mark My Identity on the outside. Brompton Boy asked to make ground. Prince Kazir races second from the back, and a Bangarang, now hopeless at the moment, left last. They've left the half mile. They arrive at the 7/16th. And on the rail, it's a Bob the Builder with that lead. Another one is there. I Dream Again now kicks in, and I Dream Again snatches the lead. But Bob the Builder is fighting hard on the rail. They've opened up some 3 or 4 lengths. Lockdown now asked to close up. They're coming into the lane. And I Dream Again in the green silks drifts off toward the center. Bob the Builder continues to run a huge one and has that lead down against the rail and gets cracks of that right-hand stick. It is Bob the Builder out in front. Here is Sensational Soul now unleashed and let loose. Bob the Builder with a 2-length lead. Sensational Soul eating into it. It's Bob the Builder just. Sensational Soul now finding top stride. Bob the Builder driven out. Sensational Soul is exploding in the end and will win the 2,000 guineas from Bob the Builder. I Dream Again, Strong Mind, close between Big Buzz and Lockdown. This is the St. Elizabeth Distaff. 1 mile the trip, they're off for the St. Elizabeth Distaff. Linguist gets a good start on the far side. Main Mistress is also running quickly, and Main Mistress now moves through to grab that lead. Immeasurable Joy in pursuit, a length and a half back. Fearless Force tucked in between horses. Linguist racing out wide as they make their way toward the final 6. Sister in Treasure is moving up to join Linguist on the rail. Pretty Perfect second from the back, and Burning Hedge is last of the 7 as they make their way now running toward the final 5/8. Main Mistress galloping along with a 2-length lead. Immeasurable Joy continues the chase from second. Fearless Force has improved as they leave the 5 into third, possibly 5 off that lead. Sister in Treasure a length and a half back. Linguist now pulling alongside Sister in Treasure. Pretty Perfect is a further 2.5 to 3 lengths toward the back of the field with a trailer. Burning Hedge. They've left the half mile and come toward the final 7/16th, and Main Mistress continues to gallop along on that lead. 2 in front of Immeasurable Joy. Fearless Force now waiting to pounce on the outside. There goes Linguist making a big kick. Sister in Treasure is 6 or 7 off that lead. A break of maybe 7 to Pretty Perfect and Burning Hedge at the back, but they come thundering into the top of the lane in the St. Elizabeth Distaff, and it is a Main Mistress and Radish the Sneaky Fox Roman who lead them toward the furlong pole. A Main Mistress now getting cracks of the right-hand stick. Radish Roman wailing away as they're inside the final furlong. Here is Fearless Force now trying to cut into the lead. Main Mistress could have escaped them. Inside the final 16th, it is Main Mistress and Radish the Sneaky Fox Roman. They win the St. Elizabeth Distaff by maybe 4 or more. Fearless Force is second. Sister in Treasure third. Immeasurable Joy is fourth. They're off for the sprint. Perfect start. Ride All Day gets a good one. Pack Plays has speed. Racing down on the outside in the blue silks, that's Desert of Malibu now prompting the earlies as they go flashing past the 5. Pack Place goes on. Desert of Malibu in tow. Dothraki on the outside. They make their way now toward the final half of a mile, and Pack Place continues to lead from Desert of Malibu. Dothraki closing the gap. Ride All Day is there. California Crown just in behind with a Money Market. Is That a Fact second from the back, and Unruly Mo is racing last. They flash past the 3. They make their way now toward the top of the lane. Pack Plays and Dothraki matching speed. Money Market now asked to close up. Right there too, Desert of Malibu just in behind them, running in the slipstream, and now finding room in between horses as Dothraki may have the nose in front. Here is a Money Market and a Desert of Malibu now. These two in a battle, and now Desert of Malibu claims the lead. Pack Blazes over against the rail. It is Desert of Malibu continuing to hold them off. Ride All Day now beginning to come with a flourish on the outside. Desert of Malibu and Devastating Dane Dawkins clinging on to a very slim lead. Ride All Day bursts through, and Ride All Day beats Desert of Malibu, Pack Blaze, Money Market, and Dothraki.
And they're off and racing. Propellant wants that lead, so to Neo Star. I Dream Again is quite early. Right there on the premises too, that's Unspun, rushing up on the rail. That's interesting times ahead. So interesting times ahead. Looks to just the leader. Interesting times ahead. Unspun. Unspun now goes on from interesting times ahead. Then comes Neo Star, Propellant. I Dream Again is next. Rainsville. Allegiance comes next. Then comes up Provident. Just behind them, that's Oil Machine. Going down beside Oil Machine, that's Mr. Senator. Then comes Here Comes Doc. And racing at the back of the field, that is Power From Above. They go past the 4 and head towards the 3. And it is Unspun on that lead. Neo Star attacking into second, right there in the 3rd and under a drive. That is the interesting times ahead. Still watching them from 4th and trying to get some momentum going. That's I Dream Again. They're coming at the top of the lane, and it's Unspun. Neo Star is right there too. It's Unspun. Neo Star trying to get to Unspun. Interesting times ahead. Finds another win, but Unspun keeps on rolling. Coming to the furlong pole, it's Unspun in the Typewriter Trophy. Traveling well, also coming on and coming late. That's Rainsville, but Unspun is still in front and still enjoys a 2.5 lead. Interesting times ahead, trying to come back. Unspun in front, and Unspun has done enough in the Typewriter Trophy. Unspun beats Interesting times ahead. Got tied for 3rd between Provident and Rainsville. Not too sure who's 5th. They're off on racing. Power From Above is left behind as Mamma Mia rushes through to try to get that lead. Neo Star rushing down in the middle, trying to keep the rail run. That is a Fun Can Done. So it's Neo Star in front of Mamma Mia, a Fun Can Done. Then comes Barnaby racing back in 4th. Then comes Blue Vinyl, just behind Blue Vinyl, Gravano, and tailing off badly at the back of the field. That is the Power From Above. They turn over on the backstretch and head toward the 6, and it is Neo Star attacked on the outside by Mamma Mia. Neo Star and Mamma Mia. They're tearing away about 8 lengths in front of Fun Can Done, racing in 3rd. Then comes Barnaby back in 4th, right against the rail. That is Blue Vinyl, just on the outside of Blue Vinyl. Gravano going down and still hopelessly out of it. That is Power From Above. They head towards the 4, and it is Mamma Mia kicking away about 2 lengths from racing in 2nd. Neo Star sent down in chase now. That is a Fun Can Done. Barnaby watches them from 4th. Also coming down into it, Gravano and a Blue Vinyl, and hopelessly out of it. That is Power From Above. They pass the 3, and it is now Fun Can Done who assumes the lead. Barnaby is threatening on the outside, fading back a bit. That's Mamma Mia trying to come into it. That's Gravana. They're at the top of the lane. Fun Can Done trying to tell this field tata. It's Fun Can Done. Gravano trying to come down on Fun Can Done. Left back right there too. That is Barnaby, but it's now Gravana threatening Fun Can Done. What a race this is. It's Fun Can Done in front. Gravano coming down on the outside. Gravano has now point from Fun Can Done trying to fight back. Gravano will spring the upset today. Gravano goes on to beat Fun Can Done. Then comes Blue Vinyl back in 4th. Barnaby.
They're off for the Alsafra Trophy. Mr. Lee just misses it along with the head cornerstone. Ability took off quickly, but moving faster than them all. That's Neo Star as they make their way down the back stretch. Neostar on the run toward the 6 leads up by 2 lengths or more. Supremacy on the outside. A Digital One racing right alongside, and the head Cornerstone forms a line of 3. A break back to Ability and Mr. Lee the Grey running the rail. Divine Force is next, possibly double digits off that lead. Interesting Times Ahead and Provident team up in behind. Lion Charmer is second from last, and Further and Beyond will have to run late. Arriving at the half mile and moving into that turn, and Neostar continues to lead up. A Digital One snapping at his heels. Supremacy in a handy spot on the outside. The head Cornerstone right there. Just about 3 lengths separates those. A break back to Divine Force. Ability a length in behind as they leave the 3. Provident has made ground, moving ahead of Interesting Times Ahead. Then Mr. Lee Further and Beyond, and Lion Charmer now at the back of the field. It's the Alsafra Trophy. They're coming into the lane with a quarter of a mile, and a Neostar and Supremacy now battle for it. Supremacy on the outside of Neostar. Here is a Digital One now kicking in on the outside. Supremacy and a Digital One now get rid of Neostar. Left back on the rail. A furlong to run. Supremacy digging in. Digital One doing the same. They're shoulder to shoulder and driving toward the line. Digital One on the outside now beginning to gain the upper hand in the Alsafra Trophy, and Digital One under a good ride beats Supremacy. Divine Force is next ahead of Interesting Times Ahead, and Neostar is 5th. They're off for the Jamaica Cup. Crown Chaser gets a good start. So to Run, Julie Run. Mamma Mia, the speedball, rushing down to the outside to go for that lead. And Mamma Mia now picks up that lead on the run to the clubhouse turn. Run, Julie Run also possesses speed and goes in chase. Propellant in between horses. Done against the rail, that is unspun as they charge around the turn. Fun Can Done racing just after fractions as they make their way toward the 7. The Grey Mojito races up next. Crown Chaser runs against the rail as they charge away now down the backstretch. Racing in behind them, that's a Tiz Talk kept toward the outside, but they're about to turn over onto the backstretch, and out in front, Mamma Mia sets those fractions. Run, Julie Run is chasing. Unspun is in a handy spot, right there too. That is Fun Can't Done racing back in 4th. A break back to Mojito now moving ahead of Propellant. Sheer Delight races up next as they charge away now down toward the final half of a mile. Crown Chaser races in behind them as they're about to arrive at the half mile, and the speed now begins to pick up. Mamma Mia out in front with that lead from Mojito, and a Run, Julie Run. There goes making ground. That is Fun Can't Done now beginning to get closer all the while. Unspun is there, then a Sheer Delight. In behind those, Gervana now asked to pick up as they flash past the 3, but they're coming toward the 5/16th, and it is Mojito on the outside of Run, Julie Run. Fun Can't Done now wound up for a run as they come flashing home. Mamma Mia has given up down against the rail, but it is out in front. The Grey Mojito has it from the other Grey. Run, Julie Run as they race away now toward the final furlong. It is Mojito in charge. Run, Julie Run trying to get to Mojito. Fun Can't Done running on the spot. Gervano on the outside. And widest of all, that's Tiz Talk. But inside the final 16th, it is Mojito now clinging on to the advantage. Mojito will take the Jamaica Cup. Gervano is 2nd. Run, Julie Run is 3rd. Run, Fun Can't Done is 4th. And racing back in 5th, that's Tiz Talk.